Imagine you're building a quiz slide with a text entry field. The question is, which animal does this emoji depict? And the correct answer you're accepting is cat. But here's the thing, what if the user doesn't just type the word cat? What if they type something like this? Well, Storyline's default settings would mark this as incorrect even though it clearly contains the right answer. Because by default, Storyline's text entry field exercises require that the user's answer exactly match what you've typed in the correct answer field. For example, if I'm expecting the user to answer cat, the user has to type cat. Nothing more, nothing less. You can have some flexibility with this, of course, by inserting some alternatives that you think the user might write, but this doesn't cover all of the possible scenarios. So what if you want to accept any answer as long as it contains the word cat? Well, here's what we're gonna do. On a new slide, I'm gonna insert a text entry field. I'm gonna add a text box with the question. Then I'm gonna create a true-false variable in Storyline, like this. Then I'm gonna add a button and pair it with an execute JavaScript trigger that will execute when the button is clicked. We will now use this trigger to run some code that will update the variable to true if the word cat is found in the answer given by the user, or keep it false if it isn't. So let's have a look at the JavaScript code step by step to see what it does. This first line here gets the text which has been entered by the user into the Storyline text entry field. As you might know, when you create a new text entry field, Storyline automatically creates a variable for it. This line creates a regular expression or regex to search for the word cat. Now, this part here, the word boundary, ensures that the code looks for cat as a separate word, not as part of a longer word like catalog. Think of it as checking for spaces or punctuation around the word. The I flag here makes the search case insensitive, so even if I write the word cat like this, it will still detect it as a match. So once I create the regular expression, I will use it to check if the word cat is in the user's answer. It returns true if the word is found, or false if it isn't. And this last line here updates the Storyline variable to true or false based on the result. So I'm gonna test it now. If the user will type that my good lad would be a cat, the variable will become true when I press this button because the word cat is in the answer. But if I change this to dog, the variable will become false because the cat isn't there. Now we know how to search for one word. But what if you want to check if the answer contains several strings? For example, let's say the correct answer needs to include all of the following words. To do that, when I press this submit button here, I want to run the following JavaScript code. This here is an array of the words we're looking for, which has 3 words in it. This checks if every word in the array is found in the user's answer. So for each word, it creates a regex with the word boundaries and the I flag, which will make our search case insensitive. And then it will use the test function to check if the word is in the answer. And once it searches for every word in the string the user put into the text entry field, this expression will return true only if all the words are found in the answers. So our variable here will be equal to true. And this last line will update the Storyline true-false variable to match the value of our Boolean variable here. So let's see how this works. If the user types, I saw a polar bear claw and the thing was huge, looked like a knife, the variable will become true because all the 3 words are in the answer. But if they miss even one word, the variable will be false. So there are a lot of possibilities here. In this exercise, we give the user 3 words, and the task is to use at least 2 of them in the answer. So we'll modify the execute JavaScript trigger like this. Instead of using every, which requires all the words to match, we will use filter to count how many words are found and check if at least 2 are present. So these are the words we are checking for, and this creates a new array with only the words that match the regex. For example, if the user's answer contains spaceship and light, the filter will return this. And this length function here will count how many words were found in the text. If the length of the array is greater than or equal to 2, it means that at least 2 words were found, which will then make this expression true. So that's amazing. But what else can you do with a text entry field? Well, sometimes you may want to check the character length or the word count of the user's input. For example, if you're designing a response field with a 500 character limit, you want to ensure that the users stay within that range. Similarly, if you require a minimum or maximum number of words, you'll still need a way to count them. So this is how we're gonna count the characters. So I'm gonna use the same button, but I'm just gonna change the JavaScript code inside the trigger. So this line here counts the total number of characters in the user response, including spaces. And this will be true if the response is 500 characters or fewer, and false if it exceeds the limit. And I'm gonna set this new storyline variable I created. I'm gonna set this to this variable here, which will either be true or false depending on how many characters the input has. And this is how you do a word count. So we use trim here to remove any of the extra spaces at the beginning or the end. And then we split the text into words based on spaces. And then we return the number of words, the total number of words. And we can do lots of stuff with it. For example, we can set a minimum words variable, so the minimum required words, or we can set a maximum number of words allowed, and then we can check if the number of words falls within that range, and then we can set the variable. We can set a new variable to true or false depending on what we have. Now that you know all this, you can use this technique for quizzes, surveys, or any other scenario where you need to validate text input. If you want to take this further, I included a link to the documentation below if you want to dive deeper, or you can just use your favorite AI assistant to enhance your knowledge on this. So thank you for watching.